That's right. After the weekend marathon debate, the Ford government is now the first in Ontario history to invoke the notwithstanding clause, essentially overriding a judge's ruling that found Doug Ford's electoral reform legislation was unconstitutional. It will have an impact on the upcoming provincial election that many say will benefit Doug Ford's chances of being re-elected.
We're fighting for democracy.
There is some irony in that statement, given Doug Ford's opponents claim he's trouncing on democracy.
He's killing a fly with a sledgehammer. The notwithstanding clause is about protecting people's rights, not taking them away.
After marathon sessions that went on through the weekend and NDP efforts to stall it, there was nothing other parties could do to stop the majority PCs from invoking the notwithstanding clause, overriding the Charter of Rights and Freedoms so it can limit spending on third-party attack ads.
PCs and Tim Hudak have plans to radically cut our health care.
Attack ads are often funded by labour groups that have plagued Conservative governments.
Don't forget the Kathleen Wynne mega hit, skyrocketing hydro bills.
It works both ways, though. In the last election, Kathleen Wynne's Liberals were damaged by Ontario Proud's pro-Conservative ads. The Ford government insists it's clamping down on all of them to ensure fair elections.
In Ontario, more money was being spent by third parties than all other provinces and federal elections combined. That is what the opposition is fighting to retain.
Opposition leaders don't disagree third-party attack ads should have caps. It's not what the government is doing, it's more how the government is doing it.
What any one of the members of cabinet could have done is brought forward a piece of legislation that meets the requirements of our Constitution. But they chose not to do that. Instead, they're using this sledgehammer approach.
I'm opposed to using the notwithstanding clause in such a clearly politically self-interested way in which the Premier is doing it. I've always supported limits on third-party advertising.
Doug Ford already showed he's not afraid of using the notwithstanding clause. In 2018, he threatened to do it when a judge ruled his plan to cut Toronto City Council almost in half in the middle of the last municipal election was unconstitutional.
I was elected. The judge was appointed.
In the end, the Premier didn't have to invoke the notwithstanding clause because an appeal overturned that original ruling. Now, the opposition insists the Ford government should have worked with them and used committees to come up with an agreed solution to capping third-party ads. That's never been this government's style, though. It's probably counting on people being too busy enjoying Ontario's first reopening steps to notice, and hoping people will forget about this controversy by the time the election rolls around next June.